Yeah, welcome everyone.
Good morning.
As always, let's take a few moments to connect with each other. Appreciating that we are together as a Sangha. So what I do in these moments in the beginning of the meetings, I look at everyone, seeing who's there, and then opening my heart on that level where we are connected with each other as human beings with feelings. And when I do that, then something in me relaxes because I know you know feelings in the same way I also know feelings. So if I'm a bit, if I have some anxiety going on or sad or tired, then opening to all of you, then helps me not to judge my own feelings. So I breathe in kindness and I breathe out kindness for myself and for you. And for me, this heart connection we can open to in meetings like this, even if we are not in the same room. So we can do this over the Atlantic Ocean, doesn't matter. That's for me actually the most important aspect of these meetings. This relaxation into kindness, into being together. And exploring together, meditating together, exploring together. And yesterday we started our exploration of this really profound question, maybe one of the most profound questions on the path. And that's how the realization of emptiness is connected with. I need to go back to the gallery view. How the realization of emptiness is connected with the revelation of what His Holiness calls in his book Ultimate Love and Lama Yeshe calls Big Love. So how are these two connected? How does working on the love part, on the love side of the teachings, how does that help to understand the interconnectedness of things? And how can the realization of emptiness help us to open our hearts? So that's what we explored. And yesterday I said one of the insights here is that the exploration of emptiness helps us to deconstruct this sense of separation between us. And maybe we can kind of open to that possibility right now, that this distortion of reality, the basic ignorance, leads to this experience we might have that we are disconnected from each other. You are there and I'm here in this body, strong identification with the body. I am where this body is. And the other people, they are the others. They are separate from me. So that's what the distorted view on reality leads us into that kind of experience. So, and if we relax that notion a little, question that experience, is it like that? Can I actually, in my own experience, find a boundary between the other people and myself? Where's the, for example, since you probably look a bit at me, if you relax, is it possible for you to relax that notion of separation? The separation from this voice as something out there, the visual image you have of me, or if you relax that. And the other point yesterday was the realization of emptiness helps us to connect with the universality of suffering. Because everything is interconnected and you can't really find the boundary between you and others, then the suffering of other people becomes somehow closer to you. They are part of you. So our collective suffering as human beings, as feeling human beings, is something you experience. You participate in that. You're not separate from that. So see if you can bring that into this present moment, looking at the others. Human beings with feelings who struggle in the same way you struggle. And what the realization of emptiness also supports is the insight that the struggle we have, all of us, is based on a mistake and can be corrected. So it's a bit like, oh, guys, all these problems, all this drowning in fears and thoughts and past and future, we actually don't need to do that. There is a way out. Yeah. And right now, when I say that, I actually feel like even a bit like a bigger softness to all of us. Yeah, it's like, wow, it's not necessary. Poor us. Yeah, poor us that we are so confused. And the last point I mentioned yesterday was that the realization of emptiness in different degrees. I'm not talking about a complete realization. Wherever we are in that exploration of emptiness is really a good ally in being with our feelings. Because looking at our feelings, meeting our feelings, relating to our feelings as something which is not solid, which is fabricated through the labeling process of the mind, starting to experience emotions as energy. So, of course, that's very helpful in our relationship to our feelings. And I would like, and then yesterday I said one of the practices which bring together the exploration of the teachings on emptiness and the teachings on bodhicitta is the practice of Tonglen. So the practice of Tonglen relaxes that notion of separation, because you open to the suffering of others and you acknowledge that we are all connected in that in the shared human suffering. And so the practice of Tonglen helps us to relax the notion of a separate solid I. And that's why I would like to start with the practice of Tonglen. One of the many ways how Tonglen, giving and taking, can be practiced. So let's take our seat. Make yourself comfortable. If you like, you can also sit a bit in a meditation posture. And at one point, your eyes might want to close, so you can bring your attention deeper into the felt sense of your body. And take a couple of deeper in and out breaths. Again, adjust your posture. Notice how you sit. Shifting from the head into the body, from the doing to the being mode. It's like gravitating towards present moment awareness. The breath can be a bit of an anchor, lightly keeping the breath within your attention. And at the same time, giving space to everything else. Softening and opening. How's your belly? Solar plexus. Shoulders. And see if at the out breath you can let go of the controlling and leaning forward into the future or into the past. And then we step more consciously into the sacred space or the sanctuary of our meeting. And into that sacred space, we also invite or call upon the presence of the Buddha, the Dalai Lama, other masters and teachers, Buddhist or non-Buddhist. So we invite and call upon the presence of loving awareness through these symbols. And one way to support your capacity to be here in this moment as it is to just appreciate and acknowledge that you are alive. And that each in-breath is a blessing, is a gift you receive. I'm breathing, I'm alive. Just that. And with each in-breath, you are connected with nature, with the trees. And with your out-breath, you also participate in that interconnectedness. You can relax now. There's nothing you need to do or nothing you need to figure out. Just being. And thoughts are recognized as thoughts. And it might be possible for you to gravitate towards a more thought-free space. Not that your thoughts disappear, but it can be a bit in the background, not so loud as usual. And a crucial point in the practice of Tonglen is that with the practice of Tonglen, we turn towards what we usually, out of pattern of habit, reject or judge. And I invite you now to turn your awareness, turn your attention to that in your experience right now, which you have the most aversion towards, the most resistance. So check that in the felt sense of your body. That could be the felt sense of an emotion. It could be some pain you have. Could be some tiredness, maybe also just some slight restlessness. So turn your curiosity towards that. And with each in-breath, you go a little closer. Where is that in your body? And how does it feel? You don't need to explain it or even give it a name. It's about the direct experience. And then with the out breath, you breathe into that experience, what is needed. Some relief, kindness, healing. I think someone is not muted. Okay, thank you. So you breathe out what is needed. It's like a healing breeze, gentleness, tenderness. So with the in-breath, you open to that experience, to that unpleasant experience. And then with the out-breath, giving what is needed. And notice what happens. So with the in-breath, there's a yes. Yes, this is what it is. It is here. This is my experience. It is unpleasant. It is a bit difficult to be with it. But yes, I say yes to this. I welcome. And with the out breath, you bring the kindness, the healing, also from our sanctuary, from our sacred space. So there's maybe Tara or His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So we bring that loving presence, that loving gaze with the out breath. And notice how your body responds. You find to a yes and an openness. And what happens if your breath and your awareness is imbued with kindness, tenderness? Your breath flows naturally, but if it wants to deepen, you allow that to happen. The out breath, sometimes there can be almost like a sigh. And then in the next step, we open to the presence of the other participants in this meeting. And acknowledging that we struggle, all of us. And in that struggle, we are not alone. So now, with the in-breaths, not only open to your own contraction or your own discomfort, but you widen your heart and you open to the experience with the in-breaths of our shared anxiety, of our shared feeling of not being good enough, our shared dissatisfaction and restlessness. And so we kind of use our own discomfort, our own experience to open our hearts to the fact that we are not alone with this. That it is not personal. The discomfort loses this notion of mine, of I and mine. There is just the discomfort. And then with the out breath, you give into this field, into the field of the group, self-love, forgiveness, tenderness, gentleness. So you sit with the confidence that your participation right now is a healing light for all of us. And so with the in-breath, opening to your experience as it is, nothing is excluded. And it is not your experience, but the experience. And then with the out breath, you give yourself, and with that, because we are connected to everyone, love. And let go of the mental image of your body. There's sensations, sounds, feelings, thoughts. But there's no solid separate I. So breathing in that love, and then breathing out love. And everything which arises within you comes and goes within that field of big love. And within that spacious being here, there is no you and no me. There is love and that which comes and goes within that love. Breathing in love and breathing out love. And whatever arises, maybe there's something else coming, another kind of discomfort, something you really you usually would want to fix or get rid of, and then you do the same. You just bring it into love with awareness and breath. With the in-breath, breathing in the discomfort or giving space to the discomfort, and with the out-breath, sharing love. And you find more and more an effortless resting, Yeah, then your eyes are closed. You take the time to gently open your eyes without the sense that the meditation finishes. You stay in your own sanctuary, where your feelings, the sensations in your body are welcomed as they are. Maintain a sense that we are not separate from each other. An image here might be helpful. That's the image of the waves and the ocean. So we are waves and have our specific signature and experience, but we are also the ocean. So we don't deny our individuality, but we also relax into the interconnectedness. So I want to continue with a homage you find in the text from Chandakirti on emptiness. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama also quotes this metaphor and see if this can be helpful in this exploration of big love. So Chandakirti writes, homage to that compassion for transmigrating beings seen as empty of inherent existence. So he pays homage to compassion, and sometimes that kind of compassion is called great compassion. Homage to that compassion which sees beings as empty. He pays homage to that. That's the most profound level of compassion. That's the most profound love. In the iconography of Tibetan Buddhism, this kind of love, great compassion, is often depicted as Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion. Yeah. The Avalokiteshvara can be translated the Lord of the world who sees all beings with a gentle eyes. Yeah, who sees all beings with a gentle eye. So that's the iconography of that love, which comes from the recognition that the recognition of interconnectedness and the recognition of that there is no separate solid me. There's no boundary between me and the so-called others. At least not that kind of solid fixed boundary as we perceive it. So this is seen as the highest level of compassion. The first level of compassion is this kind of slightly confused compassion, which is something like, I'm here and I see you as the other, and I wish you free of your suffering. And so that first level of compassion happens within a deluded view, a confused view. Still not bad, but that kind of compassion often has an agenda. It's often contaminated by your own wounds, by your own fears. It's often disappointed when it's not effective, or if people are not grateful. Maybe it's interesting to ask yourself how much of your helping others comes from a bit more confused heart, wanting something, distracting yourself through helping others, and how much of your helping comes from the fullness of your heart without a gender, without a sense of separation, without the need to hear a thank you or being acknowledged of what you did. It's good to become aware of that. And working on relaxing that, what Trungpa Rinpoche calls maybe a bit too judgmental idiot compassion. One of the very effective ways not to feel yourself is to be more occupied with others and with your own inner life, running around and trying to help others instead of taking care of yourself. So he pays homage to that, and then he says, like a moon in calm water. Yeah. So other beings are empty of existing in an independent, inherent, self-powered, findable, reifying way. Other people don't exist like that, just like a reflection of a moon in calm water. So if you connect with that metaphor, yeah, so you imagine like a really calm pond, like in a calm forest, and in that pond there's a reflection of the moon, but you don't know that it is a reflection. So that image conveys the insight that the moon seems to exist and be really there. That's the moon. It's findable. There's something there. It has a substance to it. If you, it covers a certain spot. But when we look more deeply into that moon, it's easy to realize there's nothing there. It is an appearance, but it is empty of having a findable substance, a core. And the people you see in the screen, they are just like that. They are just like the reflection of the moon. They appear as something solid, something separate, but they are empty appearances within your awareness, within your consciousness. The people in your life don't exist in the way they appear to you. Yeah. So is there any question, comment, reflection, something you would like to share around what we explored yesterday and today? This question, this exploration, which is really, really important for all of us. Because we all long for big love. So that's and do you see the possibility to increase the revelation of big love or the uncovering of big love for you through the teachings on emptiness, through the teachings on interconnected? Yes, Philip.
So one thing I appreciated yesterday from the meditation about meeting your future self was the sense of expansion. So usually we think of being fully present in the here and now, and somehow it moved from that to simply being fully present, as if it transcended time and space.
Yes.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, those who were not there yesterday, in the beginning, I led the meditation on meeting your future self. So imagining you, the stream of consciousness, continue to work and heal and relax your reactivity. So how would future self look like? And for me, this is one of the meditations who give me the possibility, who gave to myself a deeper understanding, a deeper experience of what self-love means. Kind of ultimate self-love. It seems for me that for the emergence of a really deep self-love, there needs to be that step of feeling loved like that from the other. And we can do that with the Guru Yoga or with Tara, or it's also maybe necessary to have that kind of experience in a relationship to another human being. But for me, it's really nice to do it with myself, with the future self.
Hi there. Did it appear
Hi.
to other people that the giving and taking of love and the experience of your future self and today in this meditation, that the feeling is almost like breathing? The giving of the love is some sort of automatic function. It's just there. It's like you suddenly realized it, just the way you suddenly realize, you focus your attention on breathing. It just seems to be there already.
Yes. Yes. That's amazing, right? And it's so different than trying to cultivate it, or like trying to make it. So it's a very different experience that, as you say, it's all already there. It's like at the moment where our sense of separation relaxes, and the sense of a solid I, something to defend, something to worry about. So when that relaxes, it seems that love starts to shine through. I think this is really a good. I mean, it's a beautiful message that kind of a little experiential proof what is being said in the teachings, that our deeper nature, our deepest nature is good. And that in our practice maybe our practice is not about cultivating compassion. Also, there's compassion training and stuff like that. But maybe that's actually not, at least from a Tibetan point of view, that maybe the practice is more healing and relaxing and letting go of that which prevents that love to come through us into the world, to remove, to heal the layers of protection and fear which come from our confusion of reality, our distortion of reality. So that's what you also, what is assumed when you read the text, that that the deepening of the realization of emptiness leads to more and more love, more and more softness, more and more kindness. If it's not misunderstood, yeah, I pointed to if the teachings on emptiness are not misunderstood. I pointed to that possibility before. Yeah. There's a possibility to understand emptiness in the sense, or nothing matters, or it's just everything is empty. That would be a misunderstanding. So a correct understanding of emptiness should lead to more love, should help you to open your heart more naturally. Yes.
Couple of things. You said something about it. You reminded me when you said something this morning, like, guys, I thought I heard you say, guys, like relax or something like that. But I remember thinking, we make such a fuss. My heart just, tying in with what Gabriel and you have been saying, it's like love is flowing all the time. And these really are, that English word is obscurations. We don't see it. And we're obscured from seeing that. And that's kind of how it leads us to make such a fuss about our own little stories. And it makes you go, oh, oh. So, that insight I had a long time ago, I go back to that and just go, yeah, it's helpful. Yeah. And I want to say, and I don't want to totally change the subject off this because this was good. My takeaway yesterday was that grief, which I guess that's the label for what I'm feeling. I lost my little kitty companion of many years a couple of days ago. And people have asked me, how are you and all that. And I thought, it's energy. Grief is energy. I mean, all of these emotions and thoughts are energy, but it just felt really good to name it as energy. And it comes and it goes.
Yes.
And I experienced his passing as a sense of interruption of love. Now I don't like that interruption. Like that.
Is it Is it a pet you
Yes,
lost, or
yes,
huh?
a cat. Uh-huh.
A cat? Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Mm, yes. And how do you feel when you? What's his name or her name?
Oh, get ready for this. Jennifer, who's in this room right now, has met him. His name is formally
Formally,
Sange.
Sangi. Ah, Sangi. Okay.
But I called him Puss Puss.
Okay.
So, you know, I've been playing with I'm pussless. I'm pussless right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, since he is here now with us, uh,
Oh yeah.
and I think we all can love him. Yeah. I mean, we have not met Puss Puss, but you kind of introduced him to us, and we all know how it is to. I mean, most of us we have had a dog or a cat, maybe in childhood also. I mean, it's not a little thing. Yeah? I mean, they are like people, and sometimes they are really important companions in our lives. Yeah? So I mean, it's silly to say, "Oh, it's just a cat or it's just a dog." I mean, sometimes these people are more important in our life than many many other human people. Yeah. Um,
No, I
uh,
feel that from the group.
but
And
but even I didn't meet Puss Puss, but Stange. But I feel his presence
mm,
by you introducing him, and so there is there can be, I think, a sense of a timeless love which is not bound to the body. Yeah.
so this is the first time I've shed tears.
Yeah. That, uh, that's very important, to, to cry about that. Yeah. But no, sometimes it is this approach. It's just energy. It's really helpful. It's good. It's a good part. But sometimes there's also the need to not deconstruct and name the feeling and give it the space. Yeah? But you know that already.
I do.
Just yeah. And then the sadness is in a way something beautiful. I mean, sadness and tears and grief, when it's alive, it moves. Crying is so healthy. Um, so seeing grief as empty doesn't mean that the grief doesn't need to. The grief, even if it's empty, the emotion is empty and not findable, it still needs space to move through. Yeah. And
Exactly.
then the understanding of emptiness helps us to see, yeah, it's vibrant, it's something alive, it changes, it needs this time to be there, as long as it is there. So it is and it isn't. We don't, yeah, both.
What I've found in expressing or even sharing with people that the kitty has died, I'm thinking mostly of my daughter right now, who lives near me. She's almost searching my face to see some sense of expressed sadness. And I think that will help her. You know, she knows I can be, I'm sure I sound sort of heady to her a lot when I say it. I don't think I've said the thing about it's just energy. I mean, I would not say it that way anyway, but you know, she's waiting. She knows that that my Buddhist practice, I express things that are kind of like, yeah, well, really, what are you really feeling? That kind of thing. So, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I thought, yeah, this might be helpful when I see her today. Even tell her that I've shed tears. She'll be relieved, is what I'm getting at. Like, show me your humanity, Mom. That kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes we could practice the Buddhist teachings and meditation as a way to become a bit more indifferent almost. We're using the teachings to judge our feelings more. And in that way, becoming a little bit too disconnected. And that might be unhealthy for us, but it is also sometimes a bit difficult for others. Yeah, is there any other reflection onto that theme? Maybe a question around it you have? Yeah, the two wings, the emptiness teachings and love.
Stephan, Lona has a question.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, it's difficult to get your head around, and I'm a bit also confused. So, and like we have touched on before, that it can be frightening. And I think, you know, sometimes I've been down that path where if everything is empty, then it doesn't matter what I do. But now I got really afraid, this reflection of the moon and that everyone is a reflection. Maybe you, because that, so Stephan, you sit here, or Philip, all of you in front of me, and you are just a reflection. That's almost too much to bear. Or like, should I see His Holiness is Dalai Lama is just a reflection? That is, and then what? So we are all just empty shelf. It's okay, I'm empty, and I can feel the relief if I really meditate on that and take it in, and I feel, oh yeah, that's right. But you, that you should be empty. Or like, how should I? Where is the relief there? Is it more like, you know, sometimes I try to remember, I see a mailbox, a red mailbox in Denmark we have, but that's just because I see it as a mailbox, but it's not like, it's just, it's not, and that can be nice. But how is it a relief that, oh, can you, I don't know if it makes sense why I get afraid.
Yeah, it's a good question.
To get my head around.
Yeah, yes, that's part of the that's, I think, for everyone, It's like that. It's difficult to conceptually, maybe impossible actually, to figure this out conceptually. So how is it a relief? Like, let's see, let's contemplate that question. For example, someone you are very close to. What does it do for us? Like, if we would imagine, we would see this other person, maybe, for example, if you have children and you worry a lot about them, yeah. How would your relationship to them change when you see them, when you start to realize that they don't exist in the way they appear to you, as separate, solid, independent, out there person? The first thing which right now came to me, if I look at a person like that, I feel closer to them. I feel closer to them. I mean, realizing that they exist as an appearance is not realizing that they don't exist. It is realizing that they don't exist in the way they appear to me. And how do they appear to me? As someone separate, solid, someone who has his own problems, someone who I'm not with if they are physically not there, someone who I will be disconnected from when they die, because they appear to me as if they are the body. So another shift I experience when I think like that is there is less the tendency in me to say, oh, this is your problem. It's your problem. So there's a bigger capacity than here and an openness to recognize, no, this is neither my problem nor your problem. It is a problem. So what can we do? Can I help you with it? Because it's a problem. There is something here. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I think that is the relief, or like it doesn't mean that we don't exist, but we are yeah.
No. It's yeah, this image with the waves and the ocean is really helpful for me. So without any understanding of emptiness, I would experience myself as a separate wave, separate from everything, separate from the other waves, separate from the ocean. Because that's how usually this moment appears to me. But then if I now bring the view of emptiness, the view of interconnectedness into this, then first my own fear decreases, because there's the experience, hey, there's nothing to defend here. Let's say in this moment I could feel that I just said something stupid and you judge me. And in a distorted view, I would perceive you as, people out there, and there's something here, and it's very important what you think about this something here. But with an understanding of selflessness, that relaxes. And even if from your side there would be judgment, or you would express judgment, there would be much more space here to kind of let it go, and also be gentle and kind to the judgment over there. That's why do we judge others? And your judgmental mind is my judgmental mind. And in every moment, also right now, we have the possibility to go into the radio station of the narrative self, kind of contracting into a sense of separation, being preoccupied with me, or we can just relax that, see thoughts as empty, like drawings on flowing water, as they say in the Dzogchen tradition. Like thoughts are drawings on flowing water. So they are empty, they don't have any substance. And then there is more space to be back in this sanctuary. It's so good, and as much as possible to use moments, as many as possible throughout the day, to open your heart. To that relaxation which comes from the deconstruction of this solid boundary between us. I think it's so beautiful, and right now that we have this possibility to look at each other with a less sense of separation. You know, there's something around you. You know, so big love, you can't locate it. It's like you can't describe where it comes from, but and then I mean that's the most important thing in life, right? To sink in when we touch big love. Philip, you wanted to say something?
Thank you. Yes, I was thinking that part of the terror that comes from contemplating emptiness is the notion that everything is a creation of your mind. The problem with that is the word "your." If you think everything is a creation of mind and you have the fullness to emptiness, then it becomes less terrifying.
Yeah. Yes. So it would be too extreme actually to say this is a projection of my own mind. It's not like that. Yeah. So it's a co-created projection. So it's not that you are the only one in the universe. Because there is no one. So and I found it also helpful to you kind of apply the view of emptiness to certain areas and not to try to kind of find an overall view. For example, what really helps me when I have a problem to look at that problem from the view of emptiness, that it is fabricated, that it is constructed, that I make a problem into a problem because I label it like that. I make that situation into what it is for me through the way I relate to it and the way I label it and what the stories I tell about it. But that's not how the situation exists. Yeah. So that helps me in a very practical way to find some relief, and that's good enough. Yeah. I mean, I just had an example today. I had I'm running, and yesterday when I was running, I started to have some pain in my knee, and it became a bit worse today. So the experience of this pain can be can become a big problem. You know, I can develop fear and tell stories about, oh, now I have to stop to run, and so on and so on, and so I can really make it into like something. Yeah. And then the recognition of emptiness today in the running, or the recognition, bringing the view of emptiness into that, really helped me to relax the whole thing and just stay with the sensation and breathe with it. So I did the Tonglen practice with it, similar as I guided you, like, you know, saying yes to it, breathing it in, breathing out what is needed. So that's for me a practical application of this, the view of emptiness. This physical pain is one can find some relief when you distinguish the sensations from the stories, when you can deconstruct the worries about the future, how it will develop. Yeah. And if you relax the sense that there is someone, that there is an I having pain, and then with the practice of Tonglen, one could then send love to all of us, which is all of us who have something going on in their body. I mean, maybe exceptionally there's one person here, but it's probably, the probability is very small. Yeah. So we all right now probably have something we worry about in our body. Or if not, then we just have to wait a few days and then something will be there. Yeah. So I know how it is to worry about, you know, particularly now I'm growing older. Yeah. So I know exactly how this feels, because I know it from myself. So I can use this experience with my knee as a way to, again, as a way to connect with others. It's quite amazing. Yes. So, as I said yesterday, with the recognition or with the view of emptiness, it makes also more sense, the dedication. Because if we stay in that sense of connectedness, in that sense of openness, that actually, I mean, that you are everywhere in a way. That this is your universe. So we can send big love into our universe from this temple. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Stephan.
Thank you so much, Stephan.
And
Really good to see.
and you have no, you over there you have a whole day now to be a source of love.
Thank